A coworker asked me on a date, and now my husband thinks I should report to HR, which I think is weird. I started a new job about a month ago. It's my dream job, and I absolutely love it. Without saying too much, my job supports a number of different executive leaders for different productions within my company. I work in media. Since I've started, I've been asked to lunch by several executives as a means to get to know each other and to welcome me to the team. It's been great. Well, anyway, who we'll call G, who also started on the same day as me. He's nice and sits relatively close to me. Our paths rarely cross for work. We're never in the same meetings or do projects together, but we engage in small talk when we bump into each other in the halls. The other day, he asked if I wanted to go to lunch with him. I said yes because 1, I was planning on going to get something anyway, and 2, I had gone out to lunch with a number of coworkers, and it was fine. I also wear a wedding ring, and in the little new hire bio, they send out about each new employees. It included that I was married and have a 2-year-old. I also have pics of my family up on my desk. So we go out to lunch and he asks about my weekend plans, and I say that my husband, daughter, and I were going to clean our backyard. That's when he gets a very confused look on his face, and he asks if we have an open marriage because he doesn't want to be that guy. I realized what's happened. Abs proceeded to explain that I've been asked out to lunch by a number of folks at work and thought it was just lunch. Super cringe-worthy, but he was a good sport about it. MHE thought my ring was just decorative and that I was a single mom. He said he didn't see the HR email that introduced me to the company, and we ended up just laughing about it. He was super embarrassed and asked me not to tell anyone at work, which I agreed to. So anyway, when I got home, I told my husband, and he thought it was weird that I didn't report it to HR. I told him that G didn't break any rules and that I didn't feel like I was harassed or anything. My husband is concerned that he might try to retaliate against me. I highly doubt it, and that it should be documented that I turned him down for a date. My husband also thinks that G went into it knowing I was married and just pretended that he didn't to save face when he realized I wasn't interested in him. He's not buying the decorative wedding ring thing, which I get is a weird excuse. But I have a number of single girlfriends that wear rings on their left ring fingers, so maybe that's why I didn't think it was that weird. It's created this weird tension in my home. I told him that I understand that he feels disrespected, but I don't believe it was intentional. My husband thinks I'm being naive and passive. My husband's usually a very rational person, but I can't get him to drop this. We haven't really been fighting, but I can also tell he's not happy. For the record, he had no issue with me going out to lunch with other male coworkers and even encouraged it. It's just this specific one. Any advice for me? TLDR. A coworker asked me out to lunch thinking we were on a date. I tell him I'm married and we laugh over the misunderstanding. Husband thinks the guy took me out knowing I was married and changed his story when he realized I wasn't down to cheat and wants me to report him to HR. Update first, just want to say thanks to everyone that responded with advice. I got way more feedback than I was expecting, so thanks for that. Before going back to work on Monday, I had a talk with my husband. I told him that while I understand he's upset, it didn't make sense for me to report to HR. My coworker hadn't broken any company rules by asking me out, and nothing would come of it. I did, however, say that if the coworker continues to make unwanted advances, that I would absolutely report to HR for harassment. I wrote myself an email, as one kind Redditor suggested, documenting what happened just in case something weird does happen. We decided to put it behind us and continue on. When I get into work Monday, my boss asks me to come into her office and shuts the door. As it turns out, she was aware of the situation. I guess the guy told his boss because he was worried I might make some sort of complaint to HR. Lol. And his boss ended up talking to my boss. My boss found the whole thing pretty hilarious, referring to my coworker repeatedly as this effing idiot for not at least confirming that I was single first, and then also asking me if I was okay and if it made me feel uncomfortable, etc. Honestly, it was a good talk. We also have a women's group within our company that she recommended I join because they talk about handling issues like these in the workplace. She also said that if I wanted to make a report to HR, I could, and that my coworker offered to verify that he was a dummy in a statement if I wanted to make one. She also said I could forward her the email I had sent to myself, and that if it remains an issue, we have it documented. We're also moving to a new office soon, and she informed me that our departments are going to be in completely different parts of the building, so I won't have to run into him. For now, when I've run into him around, we just do a polite head nod and carry on. For those that said I was an idiot for not catching on sooner, I also wanted to add that I'm not a woman that gets hit on very frequently anymore. After having my daughter, my body completely changed, and even though I'm still a young 26-year-old whipper snapper, it's not like I'm constantly turning men down. I'm somewhat shy and was eager to make a friend at my new workplace and didn't anticipate that his intentions were romantic or sexual. For the folks that thought going out to lunch with male colleagues was inappropriate, I don't really know what to say. My husband has no issue with me going to lunch with male coworkers. It's a completely normal thing to do, and he does it with female colleagues as well, and I have no issue with it. TLDR. Coworker told his boss, who told my boss, and everyone went on with their lives.